Alright, savages, I almost forgot to start speaking there at the beginning of this episode. Welcome along to Scheme Me Up, Botty, the science fiction podcast that is delving fairly deeply into Star Trek the original series right now, and eventually we will go through all of Star Trek. The rate I upload podcast, it's probably going to take the next 79.5 years to get to season 3 of Star Trek the original series, but we're going good at the minute. It is what it is. This is episode 9 of season 2, entitled Metamorphosis, and something that I had completely forgotten about, that Zefram Cochrane, the character of Zefram Cochrane, is in Star Trek the original series. Completely forgot about that. The guy that discovered warp drive, and you see his story and detail in Star Trek First Contact, and you get bits and pieces of it throughout later Star Trek, but he is in the original series, played by Glenn Corbett. Decent little episode this here. I'm not going to delve into the reception of it right now, but I enjoyed this one. Very good little episode. Essentially, there is a Federation Commissioner, Nancy Hedford. She's been ferried by shuttlecraft to the USS Enterprise to be treated for Securo's disease, a potentially fatal condition, before she can resume a peacekeeping mission that she's on. En route to the Enterprise, they come across this glowing energy field that appears in the shuttlecraft's path, and it pulls them down to a nearby planetoid with an Earth-type atmosphere. All the communications are blocked, and the shuttlecraft is totally inoperable. Soon afterward, a young man calling himself Cochrane appears, and he tells the party that he's been marooned on the planet for years, and that a dampening field is preventing their systems from working. Cochrane takes him over to the shelter that he's built from the material that he salvaged from the crashed ship that he had. In the course of their visit, Kirk, Spock and Dr. McCoy notice this glowing mass resembling the phenomenon that brought them to the planetoid. Phenomenon! Cochrane calls this entity the Companion, and explains that as an old man he took one last flight intending to die in space, but his crippled ship was intercepted and rescued by this entity, which restored him to youth, and it's been keeping him alive ever since. The Starfleet officers, Kirk in particular, has noticed something very familiar about him, and they're stunned to discover that he is indeed Zefram Cochrane, the inventor of the warp drive. Cochrane then reveals that they were brought to the planetoid. He had told the Companion that he would die without company of his own kind, hoping that it would release him, and instead the Companion hijacked the shuttle and brought them there. So essentially they're going to be trapped on the planet just to keep him company. When the Companion attacks Spock as he works on the shuttle, Spock deduces that the entity is largely composed of electrical energy. So then Kirk and Spock attempt to disable the Companion with an improvised electrical disruptor, but the Companion retaliates violently. He's going to kill him, but Cochrane manages to intervene, saves Kirk and Spock from being killed. This thing, essentially all he has to do is just let his mind clear, and the thing comes and kind of melds with him, that surrounds him. And he says that he feels a little drained afterwards, but it revitalises him as well. With the condition of Hedford rapidly deteriorating, Spock modifies the shuttle's universal translator to communicate with the energy force, and Kirk discovers that it has a female personality and is obviously in love with Cochrane. The Companion declares that it has stopped all form of aging from everybody that's there. It's going to keep him alive forever as company for Cochrane. Cochrane, for his part, is disgusted by the idea of an intimate relationship with an alien, and rejecting the idea of the Companion's love and affection for him, and storms out of his little shelter that he's built. The Nancy Hedford, the female commissioner, on her deathbed essentially at this point, rapidly deteriorating. She is kind of, what the hell's going on with him? I'm trying to find myself in my notes again here. I've lost it. Yeah, she's kind of, she's on her deathbed, and she can't get her head around the idea that Cochrane is rejecting love, whereas the dying Hedford, she's expresses her yearning to love and be loved before dying. She's been a career officer her entire life, and even before that she was that focused on everything that she was doing. She never had time for love. She's never felt love, and she's never known what it's like. And the idea that someone is going to reject love that's been freely given to them is devastating and heartbreaking for her, and she's in tears at this point over this. Cochrane summons the companion again, and Kirk explains that it and Cochrane are too different for true love. The companion starts to think about what it would be like to be human and disappears. And moments later, Hedford appears outside the shelter, completely restored to health, and they realise that the companion has merged with Hedford. And within Hedford's body, as one person, the entity and her personality are both inside this thing. So the entity is yearning to be loved the same way that Hedford was yearning to be loved, and brought her back to full health, which would otherwise, she would have died within moments. So she was on her deathbed, she was at death's door. The companion saves her. Cochrane excitedly talks about his plans for travel in the galaxy with Hedford. He's willing to give us a shot. And they go off and they're having a little chat with themselves. And, Hedford tells them, the companion side of her tells them that, you don't have to worry about your ship anymore. It's going to work now. You can leave, essentially. She's taken a human life here. Not taking a life as in killed someone. She's not going to keep him immortal anymore. Now she's human as well, been in Hedford's body. They're going to live out their life, and they're going to die at a normal age, essentially, so the crew can leave at any time. But, Cochrane been all excited that, this could work. She's human now, she can experience love. He can give love as well to her now, and everything that comes with it. And he's excited to get out and enjoy the universe again. But the companion / Hedford reveals that the life force of the companion is bound to the planetoid. It can't leave for more than a few days. So Cochrane chooses to remain with her out of love for her and gratitude for what the entity did for him, declaring that they will have many years together, and it's going to be good years. At the end of the episode, Cochrane then requests that Kirk and his crew don't tell anybody about him. Just let everybody think that he died when he died, and they didn't find him anymore. Just he's going to live out his days with this woman in peace. And yes, just on this little planetoid, this little asteroid, and just enjoy each other. Nice little episode. When McCoy asks at the end of the episode who will complete Nancy's mission on the, as I said at the beginning of the episode, she was on a peacekeeping mission. McCoy brings that up. Who's gonna complete the mission that Hedford was on at the beginning? And Kirk just shrugs and says, "I'm sure the Federation can find another woman somewhere who'll stop that war." And we close out the episode there. So, went through this one fairly quickly. It's one of those episodes. There's not when you break it down, there's not much going on in it. You know, they come across Cochrane. They thought he was dead. This thing's been keeping him alive for a long time. That's in love with him. Then it discovers, and you know, we've just gone through it. It gets itself a human body, and then they live happily ever after, sort of thing. So it is what it is. Let me just get into the production notes and reception here. I've just been looking it up. Metamorphosis was the Star Trek debut for Zefram Cochrane, created by writer Gene Coon, one of the key figures in the fictional history of the Star Trek universe. In this episode, Cochrane is credited as the discoverer of space warp, i.e. warp drive technology, which enabled Earth to achieve interstellar travel with faster-than-light starships. This led to Earth's first encounter with alien civilizations and the formation of the United Federation of Planets. In the series timeline, as it has evolved, by 1967, Cochrane of Alpha Centauri had vanished 150 years earlier at the age of 78, was presumed dead. Commissioner Hedford, who Botty's a companion, was portrayed by Elinor Donahue, who was known for the 60s sitcom The Andy Griffith Show, in which she played Ellie Walker, and the 1950s sitcom Father Knows Best, in which she played Jane Wyatt's eldest daughter. On the next broadcast Star Trek episode, Jane Wyatt guest portrayed Spock's mother, Amanda. That's interesting. I didn't know that there. Like, I've actually watched those two episodes back to back, so it's interesting to know that there was a relation between those two characters there, or those two actors. Guest star Donahue recalls that a number of scenes had to be reshot after flaws were discovered in the film stock during post-production. The reshoots involved calling back actors and rebuilding sets which had been struck down. Yeah, you never think about that sort of thing, do you? More so in movies and that there. Like, it's not out of... It's not out of the realm of possibility that someone's going to have to be reshot, but you kind of think to yourself, something as simple as a little TV show, they're just going to get it all done and dusted and actually check the friggin' stock footage before they actually start taking things apart. But I suppose on the big production schedule, they just try to do things as quickly as they can, but they had to go back and rebuild sets for this. Interesting. Director Ralph Senensky, hope I pronounced that right, was dissatisfied with the initial reading of the companion's lines by Elizabeth Rogers and had them re-recorded by Elizabeth Hush. Cochrane reappears as the focal character in the movie Star Trek First Contact 1986, in which he's played by James Cromwell. This episode was the first time in the original series that Kirk does not appear on board the Enterprise at any point. I hadn't even realised that. Where are we at? In 2009, AV Club rated this episode as a B. In 2014, Hollywood.com ranked Metamorphosis at number 29 out of the 79 original series episodes. As I say now, this decent little episode, a nice little love story and a little exploration of love. Like, I'm not delving into it as deeply as the episode does itself. I just enjoy talking Star Trek, but there's moments there where Kirk is trying to explain love to an alien, and not very successfully at times, but it's interesting to see the way things is put into words in the episodes whenever they're talking about that sort of stuff. So it's a nice little delve into love and what love is and what it's like between humans. Interesting little piece of storytelling in this episode. So I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. A little swift one for you tonight. We're only at about 14 and a half minutes here, so it is what it is, and I'm going to go. So again, if you think this podcast is an absolute disaster and this guy is the worst host in the history of podcasting, you can indeed tell me that via the email sceammailbody@gmail.com. I will read it and completely not take it on board and just do what I want to do, because it is what it is. I am at the age now where, you know, opinions about me really don't land anymore. They do say whenever you hit your 40s, you've got to that stage where you don't really give a damn anymore. I'm at 47 now, and I couldn't give a flying canary what anybody thinks. So if you enjoy the podcast, you can let me know that as well. And that's going to do it, guys. Other than that there, check out coinsagemedia.com for everything else that's going on, and I will talk to you in the next episode. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.